gas, solid minerals, construction, banking, as well as some stock reports. I am Charity Jerome. First, the business news headlines. Senate to probe NNPC's alleged failure to remit 10-year stamp duty. AMCON drags 3,000 defaulters to court over 5 trillion naira debt. Federal government plans more Sukuk bonds to fund projects, and SEC to collaborate with Ministry on solid minerals development. Details of these and more coming shortly. The Senate has launched a large-scale probe into the alleged non-remittance of the 1% stamp duty on contracts awarded by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation from 2010 to 2020. The Committee on Finance, which is currently probing the internal revenue generation of all the ministries, departments and agencies of government, has therefore summoned the management of the NNPC to appear before it on Tuesday. A source in the panel said the decision was taken following the inability of the NNPC to present convincing evidence of stamp duty remittances to the Federation account since 2010. The source said the decision was taken at the last seating of the finance panel when the chairman, Senator Solomon Adiola, expressed displeasure over the development. Adiola had told the NNPC Chief Financial Officer Umar Ajia, who represented the management at the session, that the committee was not satisfied with the corporation's submission on the 1% stamp duty remittances. Ajia, however, pleaded with the panel to give him time to make fresh submissions on the stamp duty remittances to the panel. The Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria is currently pursuing bad debts of about 3,000 debtors in various courts in the country. It disclosed this in a statement titled Recovery for 5 trillion naira debt burden after a 2-day training for Asset Management Partners AMP of AMCON in Lagos. AMCON said through the AMPs, it was essential that each of the cases were properly captured as they progressed in the courts. The Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer AMCON, Mr. Ahmed Kuru, said 5 years after AMCON launched the AMP scheme, the initiative had been a major tool in the recovery efforts of the corporation and key to its success. The statement recalled that AMCON was making efforts to recover over 5 trillion naira from obligors that had remained unwilling to pay their debt. It said of this figure, the government agency had informed Nigerians that only 350 obligors alone accounted for 3.6 trillion naira, which was over 82% of the outstanding exposure. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has inaugurated the Total Junction flyover bridge in Jimeta, Yola, which is also said to be the first of its kind in the northeast region of Nigeria. Speaking at the inauguration in Yola, Abubakar described the project as a great achievement. According to him, traffic will now flow better, accidents will reduce drastically, and the flyover will add color and beauty to the capital city. He said that the execution and inauguration of the project would serve as a lesson to the next generation of leaders for accountable leadership in the state and the country at large.
I reserve my greatest respect for those elected officials who fixed their sights on making history, opted to stamp his footprints on the sands of time by building edifices that transform the city landscape as well as speeds up business interactions.
In his remarks, Governor Amadu Fintiri of Adamawa State said the inauguration was part of the activities to celebrate his 2-year anniversary in office as the executive governor of Adamawa State.
The people of Adamawa State have every reason to celebrate not only the presence of fiscal structures they can see and touch as partly evidence but what we are commissioning today. But more importantly, by the reinvention of trust and confidence in politicians and the fact that beyond rhetoric, campaign promises can be translated into realities.
Well, moving on, Rivers State Governor Chief Nyesom Wike has vowed that he would no longer tolerate attempts by financial institutions frustrating or delaying the delivery time of any development projects of his administration in the state. This was following complaints that some banks that received money and handle various payment schedules for his administration often fail to release agreed contract sum to contractors. Speaking at the flag-off ceremony for the construction of the Alu Omagba Road, Governor Wike said the state government would not hesitate to terminate any contract with any bank that withholds money meant for contracts unnecessarily.
Part of the problem we have is the banks. When you give contractors money, the banks will make sure they delay that, but in fact, what's Commissioner of Finance? Is he here? Is he here? Please write letter to Access Bank that enough is enough. The next time any of our contractors complain of them not releasing their funds, that will terminate any relationship we have with them. No bank can hold us to ransom. We cannot continue to work with this. We cannot. So write to Access Bank on Monday, and I will make sure even the contract with them on IGR, I will cancel it. Nobody will frustrate our work. We cannot accept that. We can't. Because of relationship, I begin to suffer our work. I won't allow that. I won't. So please, any contractor that finds out that any bank is frustrating them, do not hesitate to let us know. Okay, if you want to do your trading or whatever, say business, don't stop our work. The money is our money.
The federal government plans to upscale its alternative financing program by issuing more Sukuk bonds to fund projects, building on the back of huge successes recorded on previous insurances. It had raised 362.6 billion naira in three previous issuances, which were hugely oversubscribed. Director General Debt Management Office, Ms. Patience Oniha, said the government recognizes the need to issue more Sukuk bonds, given the increasing success and strong investor appetite for the alternative non-interest bonds. According to her, the Sukuk initiative by DMO, which oversees national debt management, has been successful given the strong level of awareness that has been created. She attributed the success of the Sukuk issuances to the increased confidence from market participants, given that the Sukuk bonds are tied to specific projects that can be tracked. Meanwhile, Nigerian equities closed weekend with average negative return of 5%, implying a net capital depreciation of more than 1 trillion naira for investors in quoted shares. The stock market capped its losing streak this month with a net loss of 35 billion naira last week, raising the average return so far in the month to 3.96%. Benchmark indices for the Nigeria equities market showed widespread depreciation across most sectors, with investors in highly influential banking and industrial goods sectors recording the highest losses. Aggregate market value of quoted equities has also dropped from the year's opening value of 21.057 trillion naira to 19.940 trillion naira. Meanwhile, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, is seeking to collaborate with the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development to address some of the challenges faced by the solid minerals sector through the commodities exchange. The Director General, SEC, Mr. Lamido Yuguda, stated this during a meeting with the Minister of State for Solid Mineral, Dr. Uchechukwu Oga, in Abuja. Yuguda said the core function of a commodity exchange is to create markets by providing a setting where multiple buyers and sellers can trade commodity-linked contracts, thereby reducing the costs associated with finding a buyer or seller to whom to transact. He said in the last few years, however, Nigeria has been confronted by significant threats, which include structural physical challenges underlined by heavy reliance on crude oil for revenue, youth unemployment, and increasing insecurity. Well, that's it on Business Splash for today on Splash 105.5 FM, your integrity station. Join us again on Wednesday for a fresh edition. I'm Charity Jerome. Good morning. Thank you for listening.
Quick, charge at 240.
Hot news, cool vibes.